In 2022, Alaska held an election that defied the standard rules of political math. The majority party repeatedly lost their races. Let's look at the numbers. Nearly 60% of the state cast their ballots for a Republican candidate, yet when the final tally was announced, Mary Peltola, a Democrat, secured the seat. This exact counterintuitive outcome played out across 4 separate elections in a single year, leaving political strategists completely baffled. The results are a product of Alaska's new election laws, which replace traditional voting with a complex set of mathematical rules. That new rulebook rests on 2 foundational pillars: ranked choice voting and the open jungle primary. Before we even look at the votes, we have to look at the cost. This chart shows election costs by year. The towering red bar on the right represents the 2022 total expenses. Compared to the yellow historical bars from previous years, this represents a 328% spike in election costs. Implementing this complex new system cost the state over $11 million. And despite that massive financial investment in voter education, the rollout left both voters and election officials deeply confused by the process. Looking ahead to the 2026 cycle, some idealists are proposing a plan to force trailing candidates to drop out before the general election, hoping to manually consolidate the party vote behind a single name. Relying on traditional dropout strategies under these new rules creates a structural conflict between the law and a party's goals. To understand why that strategy runs into trouble, we have to look at the mechanics of the jungle primary. Under this system, all candidates run on a single ballot. A field that reached 48 candidates in 2022 is funneled down into just 4 slots that advance to the November ballot. The state sets a strict withdrawal deadline of August 31st. If a top 4 candidate tries dropping out to consolidate the field, the system reacts automatically. By rule, the state instantly elevates the 5th-place primary finisher directly into that empty slot. That replacement candidate will step right in and continue to split the party's vote. Under these rules, it is legally impossible to forcefully clear a jungle primary field. With the field remaining crowded by law, campaigns are left to deal with the most impactful mechanic of the system: ballot exhaustion. A bullet voter is an individual who looks at a highly complex ranked ballot and decides to select only one single candidate. This chart visualizes the 2022 U.S. House elections in Alaska. Pay close attention to the designated gap between the top red line representing Republicans and the blue line below it representing Democrats. That specific gap represents the volume of exhausted Republican votes. These are thousands of ballots cast by citizens whose single choice was eliminated. Because they didn't rank a second option, their votes were entirely removed from the final tally. This leads to what is known as a manufactured majority. The winning candidate does secure over 50% of the vote, but only of the remaining active ballots, not the total number of people who actually participated. Ranked choice voting changes the math by ignoring the ballots of thousands of voters whose choices have been eliminated, which creates the appearance of broad consensus. Because clearing the field is legally impossible, the path to a 2026 victory requires a different approach to the math. The optimal strategy requires a counterintuitive approach. Rather than fighting each other for dominance, 2 ideologically aligned candidates must remain in the race together, moving forward as a united front. These allied candidates have to explicitly instruct their voter bases to rank them exactly as Choice 1 and Choice 2. This coordinated ranking is the only way to keep those votes inside the party and prevent them from being exhausted. This reality contradicts the system's original pitch. Rather than removing the need for tactical voting, the new rules make strategic coordination the only way to reach a majority. To survive Alaska's electoral jungle, voters and campaigns must look past theory. Victory belongs solely to those who adapt to the math of ballot exhaustion.